Hi friends, if you're new here, welcome. This is gonna be another one of my old school style vlogs. Am I wearing the Robin blouse, my first purchasable PDF pattern? Yes, I am, and I will link that over here. But let's get into it. So I wanted to talk about how we put people on pedestals and idolize people and what the cultural and political significance of that is, because I think it's a really interesting and complex subject. So we have a tendency to put celebrities up on these pedestals as being like untouchable and perfect and having no faults and just kind of idolizing everything that they do. Of course, this isn't with all celebrities, but like a lot of celebrities, this happens. It's really interesting because, of course, these people are just people. And it makes me wonder, why do we do this? Like, is this an inherently human thing to idolize people this way, or is it a cultural thing? And personally, I think it's a cultural thing. And I think it also has to do with the way that we have media now. Like historically, you wouldn't, be able to like watch compilations of people on YouTube or have the kind of parasocial relationship that you have with someone. I mean, okay, maybe you can because there was, scenarios. Maybe to a degree it could exist, before the last few hundred years, but generally, I think a lot of it is kind of made more extreme by the internet and by social media and the increase in people having these parasocial relationships, which I'm referring to parasocial as in one person feels like they know the other person and the other person doesn't know this person at all. I've heard parasocial used a few different ways, but that's the way that I'm talking about it. So, for example, if you think that you know a celebrity and you've researched their background and their history and you know who their family members are and you know what their childhood was like, but they don't know who you are at all. You're just a random person to them, but you feel like you know them. That's what I'm talking about when I say parasocial relationship. So I was wondering, is this an inherently human thing to do, or is this a cultural thing to do? And you might be wondering, like, how could it be a cultural thing? It's a cultural thing because a few things: capitalism, hyper-individualism, and perfectionism. It's also a political thing and something that I think has been used very intentionally in history books and in the way that we look at history, the way that media paints history. If you look at history and you say that it is about these few hundred people who were leaders versus all of the people who actually made things happen, were actually, say, fighting wars, were actually protesting, were actually doing things, it makes people think that they have to be super special and unique and great and have like this individual greatness to create change or to do anything. Whereas if you acknowledge that huge things happen because of huge numbers of people and that individual generals don't fight wars, individual monarchs don't make things happen, having this way of hyper-individualizing people and putting specific people up on pedestals makes it easier to keep the general population from feeling like they have any power to do anything and to create change. Because if you think that you have to be super special and you have to be unique and have whatever greatness that you are personifying onto these specific people, it's really discouraging and it makes you feel like you don't have any power and that people don't have any power. And like, yes, sometimes there are scenarios when one specific person needs to do something that is powerful, but they are always backed by other people. Like, I wrote an Instagram post about this a little while ago. The Amazon labor union, so many people were super skeptical of it and thought that, like, workers could never stand up to Amazon. That's ridiculous. Amazon is so big and powerful. And forgetting that people have power and that Amazon does not work without all of the people on the ground who are working. And I think part of why people are so skeptical is because of this culture, and that if you're just a normal person, there's no way that you could ever do anything. It's interesting because I'm both saying that individual people have power and that we say that specific individual people have too much power, if that makes sense. I think the culture of putting people up on pedestals is really a political tool for keeping the general population from uprising. I don't want to be put on a pedestal. I don't want people to watch my videos and just take my word as gospel. I want people to think about them and process them. And if something that I say really speaks to you and makes sense to you, that's wonderful and I love that. But I really don't want people to just hear what I say and just be like, yes, this is now, I'm gonna follow you to the ends of the world. First of all, that's kind of creepy. But second of all, I want people to have their own internal, framework and value structure and way that they think about things. And I mean, I love to try to facilitate conversations that are nuanced and that talk about things, but I really just want to encourage people to actually be processing these things themselves and figuring out what you think and what you believe, how you might see things and conceptualize things and apply things to your own life and your own perception of the world. This was probably a short one, depending on, how much I edit the rambling down, but yeah, those are some of my thoughts for today. I hope you enjoyed them, and I will be back in the future with more sewing content. Let me know in the comments if you think that putting people up on pedestals is something that is inherently human or if it's a cultural thing. I would love to know people's thoughts on this, and also comment your favorite beverage. Yeah. Oh wow, I just realized how much lipstick is on this. Okay. Bye!